5 minutes out from our top of the order for the final event of the week here, our $62,500 Ethel M. Chocolate CSI2 Star Grand Prix. Of course, 40 years ago, Forrest Mars Sr., the man who brought the world M&Ms and many other beloved treats, created a delicious chocolate expression in honor of his mother, Ethel M. Chocolates. Ethel M. Chocolates are delicious gems ready to be savored. The adventure awaits as you bite into an explosion of flavor wrapped in decadent chocolate. So many delicious choices. Whether you're rewarding yourself or celebrating someone you love, Ethel M. Chocolates are available online at ethelm.com or by phone at 1-800-438-4356. Ethel M. Chocolates supports the CSI 2-star classes all week long during week 7 here at the Winter Equestrian Festival, including this, the finale for the week in the International Arena. Week 7 activity also brought to us, of course, by Lugano Diamonds, honored to serve as a major sponsor of the 2024 Wellington International and our Winter Equestrian Festival. And as a passionate supporter of the equestrian community, Lugano has created a collection of equestrian-inspired wearable works of art. You can visit Lugano Lounge, located in the International Club, to see some of the collection. And for more information, visit LuganoDiamonds.com. Ethel M. Chocolate's 2-star Grand Prix starts off with a total of 45 entries here today. And Anthony D'Ambrosio will allow 71 seconds to complete the course, along with Andy Christensen, co-course designers on the week here. To give you an idea of what our horses and riders will need to overcome to get a clear round in this competition, we'll take you on a tour of the route as the riders and trainers just did during our course walk opportunity. And the jumps will begin at the Lugano Oxer coming away from home as fence number 1, with 7 strides between that and the drinking horse Oxer number 2 heading toward the judges' stand. Down the outside line in front of the International Club is a 1-stride vertical Oxer combination, 3AB with the gold horse wings. And then 3 strides beyond that, the vertical with black lattice wings and black and gold rails will be fence number 4. On the right-hand lead there, 2 strides to fence number 5, the Lugano Oxer going toward the gate. And continuing on that right lead, there'll be a narrow orange and white vertical as fence number 6 before they change to the left and come away from home over our signature fence for the 2-star series this week, the Ethel M. Chocolates vertical number 7. 8 strides past to the Hermes Oxer is number 8, and then they'll continue around to the next combination, a double of verticals with orange wings and rails as 9A, 1 stride to 9B, and then they'll approach fence number 10 at 5 strides beyond that. Right turn and jumping the Bainbridge Oxer, there's a Liverpool beneath fence number 11, a bit wide, and opening them up on the approach to what is a vertical at fence number 12. And around the bend, they'll go to the final combination with the Kubota wings. That's 13A and Oxer, and B, the vertical, before they reach the finish line here today. The time allowed again, 71 seconds. All 45 who qualified through previous 2-star events here at the International Arena will be competing in the first round. And should we have a tie for first place, they'll come back to break that tie over a short course jump off. More on that at that time. But right now, just a minute away from the 2:30 start. If you're still out of the ring, please wrap up that course walk. We're just about ready to go. first rider nearing the in-gate here in just a moment is Ireland's Tom Watchman, who will come to us aboard the Wild Training Entry Blackshaw. Tom Watchman, just a couple of weeks back during our Web 4 activities, was the two-star Grand Prix runner-up, and that came aboard Lazaro Ganciati. He was also a part of the silver medal under-25 team with Boris Laros. He's had a couple of successful mounts so far here this season. He's going to be the first of what looks to be now 44 entries. We did have a scratch in our 29th position. So at this point, it's 44 total to show in this first round. Coming to the ring, beneath the Wellington International signature gate there, Tom Watchman, Ireland's rider, here aboard the 9-year-old Royal Formula Galley by BDL Zeraco Blue Blackshaw.
Well into the afternoon, and just as we touch over 2:30, it is into our Ethel M Chocolates Grand Prix. 71 seconds the time allowed on this first round of the 45 qualifying for the Grand Prix class here this week as well. And Tom Watchman starting us off. Tom busy in the last few weeks, of course. He was not only being successful here, very good into the U25s, but also up at the World Equestrian Centre as well. So it's been hot footing between the two. And with the WOW Training's Blackshaw now, the 9-year-old Dutch-bred gelding by VDL Zeraco Blue, unfortunately, has the first fence. It's been a week of first fence-itis for quite a few here. Just a little touch of the second. Not done too many rounds on this horse so far. Combined with the Watchman O'Connor trading team. And just nicely in the early stages here. Courses this week designed by Anthony D'Ambrosio and Andy Christensen. And with here we'll see 13 fences on the course, finishing with a double, which is interesting. So the Kubota double coming alongside the table bank at 13A and B. Here the MS fence gets a nice shot down there to 8, and again a little bit on the angle here. This was a almost turn that featured in the last class as well in the 150. Nice oxer to get them to on the curve there at 10. Then they loop back here into this long final line. Baybridge fence just pushes off the top rail there. Clears the Lovester plank nicely, just delicately sitting there. And this is the double to complete. Just puts them on one stride to the finish. And will take the time of 71.89. So just touches over the time allowed. 8 jumping one time. It is a total of 9 there for Tom Watchman and Blackshaw. Francesca Bolfo and Jadalco is our second of the lineup. They're going in reverse order of the qualifying from earlier on this week as well. There's the Belgian-bred gelding by Nabab Barev for Francesca. So a little bit clean from that first one, 71.89 the time. Their time allowed is 71, but was taking things a little bit steadily there. Clears the first Lugano. Should, I think, come up on about 7 down to the second fence. That on very bright pink poles, but again, a plain colour. Comes up on it'll come on 3 strides, then just a little bit on the angle here. We're going to come about 7, and again just a little bit of curve in the line up to the skinny. Turn back here to the Bainbridge fence again, coming off the side of the arena. Just got to have enough energy up there. Looking good so far. Time at 71. Might run a little bit close, but should just be enough. But he's going to have the first part of the Kubota double down as they just push for the finish. 68.70 and just on the 4 there for Francesco Bolfo and Judalco. So two gone of our 45 in total of the class here this afternoon. Warmer afternoon now here in southern Florida. David Oberkircher and Volcato. Volcato, now a 13-year-old German-bred stallion by Volcano for the Southfield Farm. For David. Also finished 8th in the two-star Grand Prix here a couple of weeks ago. So coming in with form into this. Of course, we were back out onto the field last week. Good roll back here, and again, just don't want to drift too much on this turn as we saw 2 gone so far. 68.70 from Francesco Bolfo, so time just puts enough on. Just a nice move up there. It's a nice line, but again, it's here that they've got to get it right, get up, and this previous class just got to get a couple of strides out to get the angle. Just falls lightly. Well, just one finishing on the 4-fault, 69.75. One down for David Overkircher this time with Volcato. And been going consistently. A couple of top 10s in the 2 stars, both here and in trial last season. Ibrahim Barazi and Khan to come up next, and for the Jordanian rider, this the Zangazide stallion by Kanan. Still looking for our first clear early stages of this Ethel M Chocolates class, part of Mars Equestrian. I think between Mars Equestrian, the Equestrian World, and the Mars brand. Of course, wonderful lineup of those Ethel M Chocolates, going back to the original founder's mother's name. Very special gourmet set of chocolates that they have. Ibrahim, nice shot at the first. 6 just down to the sculpted horses' heads. They've just started doing the 2 stars here in Wellington this week. Chop short as they just make the turn. Turns a little short on as they go over that Lugano fence to chop down onto there. Also was produced with Sophia Westborg of Sweden. Really pairing early starting in trial last year. Up on the 4 then to the Oxer. Gets out to get a good shot at the Bainbridge fence. Planks they're making little of so far. Just coming on the 4 faults Hops through on the one stride without any trouble at all. Crosses the line again inside the time, 69.19. It's just enough of a pressure, nicely put together though. Just on the 4 there for Ibrahim Barazi. And Khan this time around, like I say, just getting a little bit more mileage between these two so far. Luis Francisco de Azevedo and Colin, long-time partner that's ridden right the way through to 5-star with this horse. Colin, a little bit on the older side now, at 17 years of age. The Dutch-bred gelding by Calandro for the Brazilian rider for the Santa Cecilia stables. And his biggest success is with Comic, having competed through to the World Championships. Colin, top 10 in the 3-star Classic back a few weeks ago as well. Winner here actually of the 4-star Grand Prix qualifier back in November. Just bends the line, looked like it was 6 down there. So just travelling and not quite having to go the full jump off roll back there over the Ethel M vertical. Just waits here for the MS. Let's just get a little bit far off that. And again, just got to get the balance back here for this Tangerine double. Just getting a little deeper on the 5 to the Oxa. Still coming on the clear at the moment. Time's going to run a little bit close for them though. It might just squeeze enough. Oh, not enough. 71.14. So just finishing on the 1 time fault for Luis Francisco de Azevedo and Colin. Just a little deliberate in a couple of spots there and cost them just that stride. That's going to make the difference between outside of that time allowed. So finishing on the 1 time fault for Luis. Kevin Gallagher next. They're simply named I'm Here. He's right here in Florida. And several horses through to the Young Horse Championships as well in Lanaken. And a very good producer of horses through. And made the shift this season out to here in Florida. I'm Here, a new ride from into the FEI classes as well. Just again boxing up into that 3 stride distance. Just got to be careful that leaves you enough coming out of there. Puts it on nicely. Nice turn back. Good balance roll back to the Ethel M Chocolates vertical. Again, just moving nicely up to the MS fence. Not rushing too much. Again, just a little bit of break on there to say wait. 2 to 3 strides out. Squares up. And then 5 shot down there and it just comes up nicely for them. This is looking good and potentially a first clear. Just shakes things up at the final stages there to give them enough race to the last and giving us the first clear round there with Kevin Gallagher riding for the Coolmore show jumping team with I'm Here as he's joined that group. Headed up by Cian O'Connor. Of course, we've already seen the first of the Watchman rides with Blackshaw. Luis Pedro Berben and his owner Miguel Medeiros Chaco Bumpy, horse that we've seen lots of here in the United States over the years for the Argentinian rider. Chaco Blue, 14-year-old mare now. Again, just doesn't want to lose time early on. 1, 2, 3. Can't quite see around the gazebo. Just a little bit of bend of the line, just favouring the right side there. Get balance back up. Nice stretch over, and again, just give themselves a little bit of room. Just picks up the pace into that double. Yeah, they've a good experience through to even courses bigger than this, so should handle this well. There we go. Second clear round. Fast on the following two, one after the other. It is Luis Pedro Birben and Chaco Bumpy to give us clear round number 2. So Ireland and Argentina so far. Andrew Wells now, Dorchester. Dorchester now, the 10-year-old mare by Carambau the Muse for Andrew. Finished well in the 3-star Grand Prix with Idol H&H, and actually with this horse into the early parts of the week when they first went into the 2 stars back into January this year. Dorchester that was been ridden part of their team with Gia Rinaldi and Cecily Tofter of Denmark last season. Andrew taking over the reins since September of 2023. Just again getting to grips with this horse. Just a few 4-fault rounds, just scattered around so far. Just gets a fraction forward down that line and has the related distance down. So fairly short related at 3 strides. Again, fairly generous down from the vertical to the Hermes fence. Yeah, but a pick up to get the stretch, but again, just a little fraction more pace catches the front bar. First bar, the double drops down, finishing on a score of 12, 69, 76, 12 for Andrew Wells and Dorchester. Richard Neal, K-Tamako LS. And Richard, the eye of top US rider Leslie Howard. K-Tamako LS from the La Silla stud, by Caruso LS La Silla. 9th in the order here this afternoon. Gets a little flatter on the way out of there, but handles it. Skinny staying fairly fixed so far, which is good. Finished well in similar Grand Prix to this in Tryon last summer. He's him on the 4 at 70.45 for Richard Neal. Gabriel Reuter, Castle OJ for the Chilean rider.
There's the tone as she starts toward the first match. We got Ireland and Argentina on the board. She would certainly like to carry the flag of Chile into that jump-off round, and she has been in a top 2.
As for the Lumiere horses, Castle OJ, the Irish-bred 11-year-old gelding by Sligo Candy Boy. Goes back to the Irish breeding of Castle Roller Coaster, which is by High Roller. Also having her best successes with Mahari's Rock so far. Another of the Irish-named horses, but Castle OJ been placed a couple of times so far this season in Wellington as well. Bronze medalist from the Central American Games, South American Games last year. Just on 4 at the moment. 2 clears to date, Luis Pedro Berben of Argentina and Kevin Gallagher of our island. Just going to get home on the 4 as well, and going to be 69.51, 6th spot at the moment. So still holding at the 2 clears. 1 time fault there for Luis Francisco de Azevedo, and Collins sitting in 3rd at the moment. Mario Delorier, Genial de Benneville for the Canadian Olympic rider, studied by Capital d'Argon. Just an 8-year-old this afternoon for Mario. Often used to seeing him, of course, in the 5-star classes, so bringing this next big star on. Already jumped into some of the 2 stars into January and February this season. Just a couple of appearances so far. Up nicely through Calgary last year as well, similar level, as you'd expect with an 8-year-old. Just, of course, 7 at that point. Certainly has the talent, though. Finished well a couple of Saturdays ago, a couple of top 5s, a couple of top 10s rather. Certainly has a jump. Just goes a little more on the inside line there, but that does set them up for a good turn here. Springs up nicely at the Hermes and gives himself room here at the Tangerine double. Good few strides to get straight. It's looking good indeed. It's just going to be close on time, and it's just close enough. 70.82, and is the 3rd clear there with Mario Delorier and Genial de Benneville.
Moving along to the winner from last week's Grand Prix at the 3-star level. Not sure Hopeless Jr. and he's here aboard Good Morning B for Good House.
That's Holchers Jr. on the back of his Grand Prix win last week.
He's had a couple of
in that Week 6 Cast Grand Prix out on the turf. Hans Golgers Jr. and Good Morning B. The galley by El Dorado for Good Einhaus of here in Wellington. Still clear. It'll skip, get balanced back here to the Bain Bridge. Just gives a little bit of drive there and just plane doesn't get high enough. Couple falling towards the end. So good parts to take out for later, but finished on a score of 12, 70.24 for Hans Golgers Jr. and Good Morning B, balanced up to that orange double and the turns there, but just as they're coming on related distance down towards the end, just pushing a little to get the height and distance, and just didn't happen, I'm afraid. So it leaves them with a couple down. Elish Kniff, Olivia SCF, another horse from the Spy Coast Farm. For Laura Sexton, yeah, Bicard Ento 933. Now, again, get out to this orange double. Little touch on the way in. Nice smooth round so far from Elish. Don't drift too far there. Just keep on a nice rhythm down to the plank, which she does. Looking good, but close. Not quite enough. 71.22, just the one time fault there for Elish Kniff and Olivia SCF. Just a couple of spots, just a little bit wider on the track there for Elish. Puts her into 5th place so far. Luis Francisco de Azevedo into 4th with Colin on the one time fault. And 3 clears the moment with Mario Delorier, Kevin Gallagher and Luis Pedro Biraben. Brian Murgray, Damathea de Mulleret for Stevie Mackin. Good to see Brian with a string of horses coming up through. Ryan, who's been on the US Teams Grand Prix World Cup winners before, now really crafting a relationship with this horse through this season. Little touch on the Hermes. Now back nicely. Again, very early stages for this combination. So there's going to be time to add there with, unfortunately, 4 there for Brian Magro. Just had to readjust there with Damathea de Millery. But overall, some nice parts of the round. But to say they're just crafting that relationship together at the moment. Be it Manley, Chartrain, Prix Noir for the Swiss Olympian. Grant Road Partners of New York's French-bred mare by Canaan. The lovely, stylish Beat with the also is probably bringing through some bigger classes during the season as well. Nice and balanced, a little bit wider on the turn, but balanced up for the Swiss rider. Good so far, and we'll get there okay for time, 69.01. Not a big surprise, be it Manley and Chartrain Prix Noir on the 12-year-old mare producing the next of the clears on the list. And it gives us number 4. Lucas Porter, Kentucky N. For the American rider, Sleepy Piranha Wellington's Dutch-bred gelding by Carrera VDL. Lands and goes. It's a good turn around the inside leg. Coming nice and quietly down to the MS fence. Give themselves a chance there. Just gets a little tall for them on the vertical on the way in, but clears it. Yeah, and a good turn there. Didn't drift too far there, otherwise they were going to just be thinking about time. Wait for the plank. Oh, and just reaches a little far on the way in, and takes them to 4 fault 69.11, just on the 4 for Lucas Porter and Kentucky. And so they stay on the 4. 4 is the other number because it is the number of clears so far. Molly Ashcawley and Berdian. Plenty of wins and good results for this pair, for a long-time partner from the Lewisburg farm. Berdian a little bit more experienced now, the 13-year-old here by Bustique. Nice straight shot to the skinny. Several wins for this horse in Kentucky last season as well. Very capable of putting some fast rounds together, but are on the 4. First part of that orange double coming down. So he caught quite a few in this morning's 150 in a similar, I'm not saying the same, but a similar situation. Just finishing on the 4 there, 68.77 for Molly Ashcawley and Berdian. So puts them into 8th place at this stage. Holding at the 4 clears the moment, Philip McGuane and Paso Doble SCF. Winner into the Grand Prix qualifier just last week as well. And has had a very good start to the season riding for the Evergate team. Lovely Orphea. He's been riding to those wins. Paso Doble. It's part of the Evergate lineup with Jedediah Nassar on this grey again. Put a number of clears together through trial last season, and similarly here in Wellington through the Grand Prix qualifiers. Just 4 faults in the previous 2-star Grand Prix in early February. Also just on the 4 again this time. Just one of the very few to have that skinny down to date, but again spreads the faults around. Whoop, sit tight. Right, just going to run onto the clock, 71 seconds exactly, so that is the time allowed, 71, so that's perfectly timed. But it is 1 down, as you can see, just the rail on the floor there, finishing on the 4 there for Philip McGuane and Paso Doble SCF. Carampole, Jet Run. Taking another little look at that double line. Japanese rider with the gelding by Chaco Blue, now 14 years of age. Jumped some big tracks through their career, with Karen returning to the saddle now with Jet Run. She's been a big winner over the years, competed right the way through to World Championships at the Hampton Classic Grand Prix back in 2015. Little keenly through there, just go a little pacey down that line, but it's suiting them. Jet Run making a return to the show rings back in October of last year. Took a break for a year or so. Coming in on the 4, also caught by the Tangerine double. I think those are going to be the words for the week. 69.58. And finish on the 4 faults for Karen Polly, this time with Jet Run. Still holding at the 4 clears at the moment. Luis Pedro Birabén, Beat Manley, Kevin Gallagher, and Mario Delorier. Now for the Pan Am rider, it was the horse he rode at the Pan Am's, in fact, Catch the Dark. So first FEI weeks back since then. Former rider of Lauren Fisher. Just on the bend, squaring up. Nice shot in. 5. Just coming up nicely there. Unfortunately, with that 1 down so far. Time-wise, going to be a little bit behind that, but as I say, this is sort of getting back into the gear of 2024. 73.01, so it's 3 time, 4 jumping, total of 7 there for Juan Ortiz and Catch the Dark Z. And just heading into the drag break. 4 clears at the moment. Luis Pedro Birabén of Argentina, Beat Manley of Switzerland, Kevin Gallagher, and I'm here, and Mario Delorier of Canada with Genial. So those are the 4 clears at the moment. Tractor's about to head in, and then we'll be resuming with the rest of round 1 of this $62,500 Ethel M Chocolates 2-star Grand Prix.
This competition, of course, is the finale for the week in the 2-star series, and all week long, our 2-star events have been brought to us by Ethel M Chocolates. 40 years ago, Horace Mars Sr., the man who brought the world M&M's, many other beloved treats.
You'll know Mars for our confectionery, but we're also the people behind Buckeye Nutrition and many horse and pet food brands. Our research has been responsible for breakthroughs in animal welfare. In fact, Mars has been part of the equestrian community for almost 90 years. We sponsor events like Kentucky and badminton, work with riders like Andrew Hoy, Lauren Nicholson, Ben May. We even named one of our most famous brands after a horse. Mars Equestrian, building a better world for horses, pets, and people.
Can Jumper make you a show jumping expert? With Jumper, explore the latest event results, discover top horses and riders, and follow your favorites. Jumper delivers data from around the world, so you're always the most informed. Download now and take the guesswork out of show jumping with Jumper.
Welcome to Cosworth, the home of Irish Olympic medalist, coach and international horse producer, Cian O'Connor. At Cosworth, we pride ourselves on the belief that success is rewarded for effort. Set in County Meath, Cosworth is the home of Cian's industry-leading high-performance centre. The Cosworth system is based on a structured approach to daily routine and meticulous planning to help reach our goals. At Cosworth, Cian and the team work together to provide coaching, mentoring, advice on horse purchases and goal setting. We also facilitate students who wish to progress their show jumping skills while they study in universities in Ireland and across Europe. When it comes to developing your horse's fitness, scheduling and planning around competitions, no stone is left unturned. At Cosworth, we're committed to delivering quality, a place where our goal is the fulfilment of your ambition.
Jumper help you find your next top horse? Let's say you're looking for an 8-year-old, competing at meter 40, jumping clear 60% of the time. Jumper lets you find top horses by age, pedigree, or performance. Download now and take the guesswork out of show jumping with Jumper.
Be a part of show jumping history when the Show Jumping Hall of Fame hosts many of the sport's living legends at its annual induction gala. The gala takes place on Sunday evening, March 3rd at the Wanderers Club in Wellington. This year's inductees are Pancho Lopez, Katie Prudence, longtime barn manager, and Laura Kraut's gold medal Olympic Mount Cedric. Also on hand to receive the Show Jumping Hall of Fame's second annual International Award will be former Olympic, World, and World Cup champion Rodrigo Pessoa of Brazil. Don't miss this very special evening when the Show Jumping Hall of Fame honors the history of our sport and those who helped make it great. It's Sunday evening, March 3rd at the Wanderers Club in Wellington. Order your tickets today at showjumpinghallofame.net.
And preparing for our second half of this Class $62,500 Ethel M Chocolates Grand Prix. Time allowed of 71 seconds. 4 clears so far. Luis Pedro Biraben, Beat Manley, Kevin Gallagher and Mario Delorier to date. Just a moment until our next comes in. That's Catherine Tyree Flores. Tractor's just finishing up final stages and then back underway.
We're going to get back into action just a few minutes away. Here's our CSI2 Star Grand Prix again, brought to us by Ethel M Chocolates, just under the halfway point. So far, we have 4 qualified to jump off. People then straggler and the losers. Kevin Gallagher of Ireland, who's been to a bit of Argentina. Mario Delorier from Canada and Dan Manley of Switzerland. The 4 front runners right now, they're tied for first, and we'll use the jump off to break that tie. And we'll find out how many more can join them in that second round. Before we get some American riders in here, we'll find out whether Catherine Tyree Flores can be among them, as she's about to help us resume action here just under that halfway point. Catherine about to make her way beneath the Wellington International Bridge and into our international arena with Piqueur Larry, number 3093, the Catherine Tyree LLC entry, 9-year-old Australian mare by Los Angeles.
And here we go, Catherine Tyree Flores. Piqueur Larine is new horse for into FEI, was produced with Marcus Renzel of Germany back until October of last year. 9-year-old mare for Catherine Tyree Flores now. Westphalian by Los Angeles, just a 9-year-old here for Cat. Starting off nicely. Lovely looking shape. I'm just going to take this nice and quietly down here. This is scope-wise no problem. Just moving a little down that line on the 3. Okay, though. Okay, just getting the mare squared up down the line to the skinny. Travels nicely down there if that works, and it does. Comes up spot on. That gives ourselves space here into this double. Pops through. A little bit more curve in the line back to the oxer. Time might be an issue here, but it's going to be a very nice round. Again, we'll be one to take away and say thank you very much. We've certainly got a very good horse to work with. We certainly do. It is going to be 3 times, 73.41. But just on time there for Cat Tyree Flores and Picure Larine. So a new one into the FEI for her. Diego Bedoy Graneth and Scargan's Parabellum for the next for Bolivia. Now another one from the Pan Am Games last year. Scargan's Parabellum, a well-proven horse. Now 13 years old, this Dutch bred gelding by Senior Lord Jota for the NRG farm. Yes, again, this is their first FEI outing since those Pan Am Games last year. Had a solid season through Tryon in 2023. Nice group of top 5s there. And it is very nice indeed. 70.03, good return to the top flight for Diego Bedoya Yaneth. And Scarglen's Parabellum swiftly gives us the 5th clear round of this Ethel M Chocolate's 2-star Grand Prix so far. Alex Granato, El Diablo de Nor. For, again, another Pan Am rider. Pan Am bronze medalist, in fact. Today, though, it's the Bright Lights Group's gelding. Swedish bred by Durrant is the 10-year-old for Alex. One just reaches through there, just flattens a little down that line. Gets a little tap to the fence on the way out of the 3-stride distance. Just on the 4 faults for Alex so far. Time just puts enough pressure on again, just flattens off into that double, has that down. And so finish on a total of 8, 70.998 falls there for Alex Granato and El Diablo de Nor. Still holding at the 5 clears as part of this $62,500 Ethel M Chocolates Grand Prix at the moment. Beth Underhill now with a new one for the Rain family. This the 9-year-old Irish-bred mare by OBOS Quality. Beth part of the team that was silver at the Pan Am Games last year as well. Still clear so far for Beth, hugely experienced Canadian Olympian. Just gets forward to have a plank down at the Lövsta fence. Nicely through the double OK, just leaving them on the 4, 70.544 there for Beth Underhill and My Clementine. The 24th of the afternoon of 45 in total. Elena Haas and Santana. As we've seen, the young Californian, the 20-year-old, produced several very good rides. This is actually the horse she rode at the Young Rider Championships last year. Individual 12th team, 6th place there, but has been very solid through the early stages of the Winter Equestrian Festival so far. Top 3 back onto 4-star week, top 10 in the 3-star Grand Prix back in January. Similarly, top 5s into the Brain Juice U25 series. Just pulling off the Logano front bar behind. Nice balanced turn, just keeps in a good rhythm there to the Ethel M vertical. And again, similarly nicely down to the MS fence. Nicely on the 4 is going to be just inside the time at 70.68. Just one down this time for Elena Haas and Santana, keeping us still at the 5 clear rounds at the moment. Grant Sager and Frida. Now the 12-year-old mare by Balou de Roy. Based these days in Aiken, hailing from Texas. and rode on to US teams previously over in Europe as well. Frida well placed it back in November in Aiken 2 at the horse park there. It's part of the Split Rock Tour there at that time of year. Also jumped the 3-star Grand Prix here this season. Set up, gets the 3 all right. Now just wait for this little skinny. Keeps them off that. Still coming in a nice rhythm at the moment. Keep the balance. Looking good. Very few have had that oxer after the double. Comes up nicely down there. Just keep moving for time. Should just about be okay. And yes, they are at 70.42, 71 seconds being the time allowed. Grant Sager taking us up to 6 clear rounds now. Grant there with Frida.
That's going to be the 6th qualifier right now. And another U.S. rider,
Peter Lutz, Catriona. Lovely looking ride for Peter. Peter, a past World Cup winner, including in Vegas. Loves the Tateris, Catriona. The Dutch-bred 9-year-old by Canaan. Peter has produced a number of very good horses through. Busy trainer here as well. Robin de Pontual, of course, he rode to those big successes. That horse now with Skylar Riley in the latter part of its career. Just gets underneath that first vertical. Just got a little tight for them. Nice to the skinny. Again, just putting some mileage on this horse. Again, just look for the spot. Just on 4, should just make the time. Nicely through the double to finish, just to move a little to the left to cross the beams at 69.70 on 4 of Peter Lutz and Catriona this time. Another one to just miss out on the 4 faults. Quite a few on the 4 faults. In fact, they go from 10th place down to 20th. 21st if you want to include Juan Ortiz, who just had 1 down but had time falls to add there as well. 3 on time. Luis Francisco de Azevedo, Elish Kniff and Kat Tyree Flores. Carl Cook, Caracol de la Roque. Well, different class for this pair because they were the winners of the $1 Million Grand Prix at Thermal last year, but he's really just here to get back in the groove for competition. Due to be on the Nations Cup team next week as well. Jumped into the qualifier earlier on this week well, chose not to jump off for exactly that reason, that's not their big goal over the next couple of weeks. And of course part of the team that won gold at the Pan Am Games last November as well, down in Santiago. Full of power and exuberance as always. So this is just to really get them tested back out over a 145, 150 track here this week. This being 2-star, it's heights of 145, spreads up to 155. And hardly a surprise to see a clear there for Carl Cook and Caricol de la Roque. Giving us our 7th clear on the list so far. Ashley Vogel, in fact, Sophie Mayer, recent scratch with Sentimiento, so Ashley Vogel going next. Former U25 winner here in Florida. Birdie DeThoe, horse that came from the Sweetenham stable, where she's been a long-time partnership with them. Well, this French-bred mare by Magic Dell. And this horse too in the U25 Grand Prix in the last few weeks. Nice clear to kick them off. Team competition just jump round for 4 and clears into Tryon at the latter part of last year as well. Nice rollback, a little bit wider on the rollback there. Just coming on the clear, going to be close on time, should just squeak it, no. Just wait for the confirmation, they do just squeak, I thought they were going to, so 70.42, and it is there for Ashley Vogel, Birdie DeThoe, the then, 8th clear round of the class so far. In fact, exactly the same time as Grant Sager, 70.42. Not that that makes an awful lot of difference for him, but it is going to be the 8th clear. That's the key that counts. Two-time 2-star Grand Prix winner so far this season, Grace Debney now for the Temple Equestrian, Zarina de Vidal. Can she make it 3 with the Mexican-bred horse by Dumont de Semy? Now gather back up. Let's keep the record up. Nice pace. Just keeping moving a little bit more of an upbeat run down that line. Again, gives herself some space through this double. Stretches a little to get the 5. Time-wise should be good. Leave them up. Yes, she does. And it's 68-10 for Grace Debney and Zarina de Vidal. So she then gives us the next to clears. That's going to give us 9 now. And she has another shot. 2 on the bats there, Ashley Vogel and Grace Debney. Julie Wells next for the Swambo partners. My Boy Bill, the gelding by Grodino for Julie.
Since the start of the year, Julie Wells, riding a 9-year-old gelding by Grodino. This is My Boy Bill, 38-7.
Julie has ridden for many years with the Laura Kraut, Nick Skelton team as well in producing a lot of horses, often been based out in Spain. Ooh, just takes a stumble, keeps the balance though. Unfortunately has the first part of the Tangerine double down. And just gets a little forward and fast through that final group. So it's 16 in total, 69-22 for Julie Wells this time. And My Boy Bill.
Up to our 33rd entry now. Richie Maloney of Ireland with Equanimity LLC's Sherlock 46, number 93.
Richie Maloney next, Sherlock 46. Cracked the code nicely earlier on this week. We had a long list of clears into our jump off for the qualifier. Sherlock, the 11-year-old mare by Stolzenberg for Richie. Richie, a big winner here before now. Nations Cup and through the big Grand Prix too.
And here aboard Sherlock 46 hopes to get our 9th ticket to return to the jump off with this 11-year-old Dan Husband there by Stolzenberg. Entry on by Equanimity LLC, again for Ireland, Richie Maloney.
Just sits nicely down to the Hermes fence, stretches out there, gather back up. And quickly moves away from the double, not to lose time. Oh, and just gets stretched out into the double, so has one down. 69-13 on the 4 for Richie Maloney. And Sherlock 46 this time, I'm afraid. Still holding at the 9 clears at this point.
First at 12 left in round 1 with 9 so far qualified for the return trip. Let's go here with the 10-year-old Dutch Warm Black Yellow by Capo. He has been twice on teams for Puerto Rico at both the Central American and Caribbean Games in 2018 and last year's Pan American.
Now Vasco Flores, de Napo. Vasco also having competed at the Pan Am Games last year. Napo is the 10-year-old gelding by Di Capo for the Puerto Rican rider, running for Anton Morano here. Just a little steady at that fence. Just a little flick back. Gets the legs tucked up over the next. But unfortunately one down for Vasco Flores. Just going to leave him with 4 faults. Time's going to be okay at 70.114 there for Vasco and Napo this time around. Right, about 10 left to go in the first round. Kyle Tim, Atomica de Sequoia Z. And Kyle riding for the Rain family. And with this 10-year-old mare by Orezzo VDL. Kyle, an early 4. On to teams last year as well for the Canadians. Just been jumping recently over in Europe, then made the trip over here to Florida. Just going to hopefully be just the 4 faults by this time they get done and dusted. Nice looking horse. There's going to be more to come from them, but just finishing on the 4 there, 69.55 as they just put the polish on the partnership. Top 20 as it stands with just one down for the Canadian. Still holding at the 9 clears. Laura Chapeau, Shandon Blue. Oldest horse in the field at 19. Chaco Blue for she and Mother Mary Chapeau. Many times winners of Grand Prix here. This would be a big danger to many. Took a little launch at that. Ooh, a little bit further off for Shandon Blue, who knows how to do this. Still shaking up, won't have a trouble with time. Just got to take care on the way in here. And gets home for the clear, 67.05. And by far the swiftest around there, and leaves them with clear round number 10 of this Ethel M Chocolates 2-star Grand Prix this afternoon. So Laura Chapeau joins the mix, which always shakes things up a little bit because they'll be fast. Juan Manuel Gallego and Niagara DVZ for Gabriela Salazar Martinez. This mare by Nabab Darev. Looking good for Juan Manuel so far. And cruising to the line. Is it enough? Yes, it is. 70.50. And swiftly 2 on the bounce gives clear round number 11 of this class. So the Colombian will go a little later. We're going in reverse order of those from qualifying earlier on this week. And so Simon McCarthy will go last with Gotcha. He was the winner of our Grand Prix qualifier. Nicky Walker next. Canadian again, already looking super with Panther JVH. Lovely round earlier on this week in the qualifier too, with this Belgian bred stallion by Le Blue Diamonds. Previous Grand Prix winner here in Wellington before now too. Whoop, gets a little ahead there and unfortunately just pops her out the plate. Well, up and okay. So just reflecting 11 clears to date. For those watching, Nicky's up absolutely fine. Panther's fine, just having a reuniting with the groom at the in-gate. But Laura Chapeau, Carl Cook, Grace Debney, Luis Pedro Berben, Beat Manley, Kevin Gallagher, Diego Bedoya Janez, Ashley Vogel, Grant Sager, Juan Manuel Gallego, and Mario Delorier as the clears so far. 11 of at the moment. Lovely warm afternoon here in Wellington. little more experienced Thomas Joffre and Cadora as a partnership now for the Argentinian Grand Prix winners previously in Traverse City. As the Stallion Sport horses Holstein Bear by Carantino 2.
Here in Wellington, hoping to join his fellow countrymen from Argentina, Luis Pedro Verdon, on the clear list. And that would give us an even 12 qualifiers if he can get in. With Cardura, 14-year-old Holstein Bear by Carantino 2.
Again, part of the shake-up earlier on this week into the jump off, but again, they should have the experience together here. Cadora, 14 years of age now. Nice roll back again, eyes straight on where they're going. So both feel confident heading back to that Ethel M Chocolates fence. Thomas Joffre coming home on the 8 faults. +1 time as well, a little bit surprised for those two. Fortunately not quite the scores they've had in the past, and so leaves them out of the equation this time on the 8. Stephen Moore now, Colibel Hero Z. Stephen riding for the Vlock Show stables this time around, as he has been for a good while now for Teddy Vlock, with this now 9-year-old mare by Comme il faut for Stephen. 1 of 6 left to go in the first round. Just unfortunately, just a fraction close to that Oxer. Nice, the next set down here. A 9-year-old just coming to the right age here to move into these 2-star classes and beyond, maybe into the tail end of this year. And Stephen giving the nice horse a nice tidy ride. Remember, producing some very good rounds with the Vlock Show team's horses, and those were up at Traverse City before now too. It's a little inverted over the Oxer. Looking good. Unfortunately, it's going to be 8, but it's again a horse I think you're going to see on the rise through the year. Just getting some experience rounds in here. Colibel Hero Z with Stephen Moore, 69.39. 2 down for the Irishman this time. Catherine Passmore now. Curious Friday. Swedish bred mare by Cardento.
Top 5 rankings already this week in the 2-star division with Curious Friday. Here in Wellington, Catherine rides with the 13-year-old mare by Cardento, number 4710.
Nicely through the line for Catherine so far. Finished top 10 in the two-star Grand Prix here at the end of January. Just going to drop that one as well. And last is going to come down to, going to make a total of 3 down, 12 at 66.60 for Catherine Passmore. And Curious Friday not quite following up on their 6th place from the end of January, I'm afraid, in the qualifier, and then 9th in the Grand Prix itself. Veronica Tracy, Colossery Caden, Coleridge Equestrian, which is her ownership team. Also owners of the likes of Sapano, Balubay and Sidello that we saw earlier on today with Richard Vogel. Now this Irish-bred stallion by Luck Z goes back to the line of cruising on the dam side with Colossery Cruzette. Roll back there to the Ethel M Chocolates nicely. Just gets a little bit of pace there. Stands off that MS Oxa. Just going to leave them on the 4 there for Veronica Tracy this time, and Colossery Caden. Leaving us 3 left to come. Still at the 11 clear rounds in this Ethel M Chocolates Grand Prix this afternoon. Heather Christo Williams, Celtic Hero BZ. The winner here already too, and so this for Mum and Dad, for Heather and Ralph Caristo. Finished top 3 into the qualifier. As they say, we're going in reverse. Then we've got Lacey Gilbertson and Simon McCarthy left to come. Ooh, I was looking at that. Heather tried to do something about it, but no, not sure. She's just looking around for a fence by the looks, but I think they're just going to jump something else and say thank you very much. Yeah, just going to come around to this. He was looking for a vertical. A little reminder going over it, but okay, unfortunately, calling an early end to the round there for Heather Christo Williams and Celtic Hero BZ. 1 of 2 left to go. Lacey Gilbertson, Lulu. Clear after clear. This pair have been jumping so far on a newer ride for her. This is the 9-year-old mare by Lord Pezzi Jr. Lacey training in part of the Sweetenham team. basically a lot of zeros against this horse so far. Kept that up in the qualifier.
Not to mention several other top rankings to 5-star level over the course of the past season.
Good start. Looking nice and confident as a pair so far. Ah. Well, all records can't hold forever. Just on the 4 for Lacey. Timefall was put into the last spots of the money, but 4 at 70.25 for Lacey Gilbertson and Lulu. But again, have been very good through this week. They've jumped, what, 3 rounds, 2 of them clear. Just 1 rail down between those 3 rounds, so still looking very good. Simon McCarthy last to go with Gotcha for the Rockridge Farms. Holsteiner mare by Staccato that won well here.
Open here to the jump off. Those qualifiers standing by to come back after an adjustment. Simon hoping to give us a round number of 12 to fill out the list of positions here if we can qualify Gotcha to return. This is the last one before we adjust.
With lots of that's it, lots of experience they should cope with as well, but just doesn't find that 2 distances there to the exacting they need. So it is 11 going into the jump off of this Ethel M Chocolates 2-star Grand Prix this afternoon. Simon McCarthy surprisingly on the 8 with Gotcha. Coming home on the 8-fours, looking more in the groove of their rounds on the way back through here. Just leaving them on 8, but out of the equation, I'm afraid they'd have liked to have been. They were winners of the qualifier earlier on this week, 69.99. Surprisingly, the latter part of the order were the best out of qualifying, but we didn't catch anyone out of the last 9 of that group. Manuel Gallego and Niagara DVZ was the last to produce a clear. And so we get set for the jump off. 11 of them coming through. It'll be Kevin Gallagher and I'm here. Luis Pedro Berben, Chaco Bumpy, Mario Deslauriers, Genial, Beat Manley, Chatrin Prix Noir, Diego Badoya Yanez, Grant Sager, Carl Cook. Then on to Ashley Vogel, Grace Debney, Laura Chapeau, and Juan Manuel Gallego to complete. That's the jump off. Coming up in a few minutes' time, here to complete our Lugano Diamonds Week and Ethel M Chocolates Week here in Wellington, Week 7. Crowds are poised and ready for the conclusions.
Looks like we're ready to go now with the jump off round. We'll tell you about the course for the 11 qualifiers for that return. The jump off will begin here today over fence number 15, which is the Mars Equestrian Oxer heading toward home. Left-hand turn and away from home over fences 7 and 8. The Ethel Chocolates vertical and the Hermes Oxer. Then they'll make a right turn after number 8, jumping the Keyflow Thieves vertical with the red line and white stripe rails. A left turn again around the gazebo and away from home over the Horsehead Oxer number 2 with the purple rails. Then another right turn. Down in front of the International Club will be the 3AB Gold Horse combination. From there, they'll gallop on down. As you can see, it's a clear path to fence number 5 where they'll finish out over the Legato Diamonds Oxer. And of course, Legato Diamonds, our title sponsor of the week.
Take us into the jump off then of this Ethel M Chocolates 2-star Grand Prix, and sees 11 into the showdown here. Short course, and it looks like this fence 15 is the new fence on course, starting over the Mars Equestrian fence. Turn back to fence 7, the Ethel M Chocolates. It's got a sweet field, the first 2 fences. Straight down to fence 8 then, the MS fence after that. Turning back then to the Keyflow vertical is now fence 16, new fence on track. Fence 2 to the horse sculptures. 3A and B, and finally down to what was fence 5 as the finishing fence, the Lugano. So here we go with Kevin Gallagher, and I'm here, and he's not there anymore, I'm afraid. Just takes a little turn back, and so it's not quite working out for Kevin. Gave it a good shot. 11-year-old mare, and there we go. That's it, very nicely. And so on to the MS Oxer now. Just drops that one, just became a little bit unsettled, had a super first round. Looking really good, very tidy jumping horse. Again, just in very early stages of testing out for this. And so on the 8, and let's just finish well. Nicely through there, really good technique, just one of those things. And looks lovely over the last as well. 8 jumping 5 time, 53.65 for Kevin. And I'm here. Taking us on to Luis Pedro Berroban. Experienced combination here with his own and Miguel Medero's Chaco Bumpy, the mare by Chaco Blue. This pair have been in this situation plenty of times. Chaco Bumpy now 14 years of age. So, coast clear. Still those to come. Plenty of quick ones in there. Carl Cook, Grace Debney looking for a third 2-star Grand Prix win this season. Nice cutaway at the first. Good turn. Gets the one they want at the Ethel M Chocolates fence. Move up down here. They can take one out down to the MS fence as well. Tight turn back to the Keyflow, which again they'll just take a little bit on the slice. Back to this double. Just falls into the first part. Oxer on the way out. And then they can steam on down to the last. We'll keep going because we don't know where 4 fits in the equation yet. 36.06 for Luis Pedro Berroban and Chaco Bumpy. Just finished on the 4. Obviously the leading scores so far with only 2 gone. And the other with the stop on course. From there to Mario Delorier and Génial de Benneville. 8-year-old stallion by Capital d'Arnon. And we'll see how far he's going to push this young horse here this afternoon. But again, it's all a good test and preparation for what's to come. Looked very nice into round 1. Horse with all the look of one that's going to go a few further stages yet. But again, just try to come tight to that first, just on the angle, and catches out a rail. Nicely back to the key flow vertical. Again, just giving him space, not over stretching into the turns, giving themselves a good chance. Heading for home on just the 4 faults. Going to be a little back from Luis Pedro Berben. But again, their aims of the day will be that nice clear round of the first round, just for there at the first for Mario Deloria of Canada. Makes way for Be It Manley now. 2 very experienced riders. In fact, both have won the World Cup finals, Mario Deloria and Be It Manley. Be It in 2007. Grand Road partners Chartrain Prix Noir. French-bred mare by Canaan. Doors wide open at the moment. Clear to go in front. Mario Deloria finished on the 4 at 42.41. Luis Pedro Berben, same score but at 36.06. Gives a little more space back to the Ethel M fence. So they get the 7 down to the Hermes. Nice balance roll back from Beat to the key flow vertical. And again, they're just bending the lines here. It's all that work at home on suppleness. Gives a bit more space to this vertical. And just travels with the top of the Oxa with them, unfortunately, on the 4. And they're going to leave them with 4 faults at 40.17 into second spot at this stage for Be It Manley and Chartrain Prix Noir. 4 gone of our list of 11. Diego Godoy Janez and the NRG Farm Scar against Parabellum, his ride from the Pan Am Games.
Again, the door is wide open there with Diego Godoy Janez riding next and trying to be the first one penalty free. Go by Scar against Parabellum, the NRG Farm entry.
Going by Singulord Jota. Parabellum now 13 years of age. Right at the prime and ready to go. Winds up. Good turn back, but just gives a tremble to the Ethel M Chocolates pole. Goes to take that on the angle, and the angle just gets too tight for them at the vertical, so has that down. 4 faults is still the leading score at the moment, 36.06 from Luis Pedro Berben. So still worth keeping chasing here at this point. Coming home on the, well, it's going to be 8 now. Last fence goes to the Lugano Oxa, finishing on 8 at 40.70 for Diego Godoy Janez and Scaragans Parabellum. So still Luis Pedro Berben leading on 36.06 with Chaco Bumpy. Grant Sager due next with Frida for the US rider. Grant Sager and Frida, the Aiken-based US rider. And this could be playing into their hands here. They've produced a number of rounds exactly to fit this. Quite a few angles, just again to look at that key flow fence as we saw with that previous one. You just try and take that on the slice and it can just get too acute an angle in the end. And just don't want to drift too far from the first either. Nice turn back. Good momentum down here to the MS Oxer. Good rhythm and flow so far. Gets the angle to the key flow. Now keep it going. Bend back. Not quite as smooth as they would have liked. Sends them a little bit further up here, but they need to get there to get to the Oxer on the way out, and they just tip a toe on it as well. On the 4 also. 36.06 to beat to go into the lead as it stands. 36.95. They'll go into second so far for Grant Sager and Frida at the moment. Getting very interesting. We're 6 through in the jump off and no double clear yet. And looking like we're going to Ashley Vogel. I'm not surprised. I didn't think that Carl Cook was probably going to jump off there. I don't think he's going to, by the looks of it. Like I say, he's aimed at Nations Cups and so forth next week. Has really got what he needs, which is the clear. So with draws, yep, confirmed with Caracol de la Roque on a different plan. Plus he was bringing $1 million winning Grand Prix horse into the 2-star. So let the others taking a run. And so Ashley Vogel with Birdie Dutho. So we wish Carl the best for next week on the US team. Nice prep run there, gone very nicely indeed. Ashley Vogel, though, is going chasing this class with Birdie Dutho, with the mare by Magic Dell. Ashley Vogel has the vertical down on the turn. And unfortunately, a stop there. So putting things back together. Is 8 plus 12 for time, 60.93 for Ashley Vogel and Birdie Dutho. Grace Stebney, doors open for her to win a third 2-star Grand Prix this season. She's got 3 left to go. She's one of them, Grace Stebney, Laura Chapeau and Juan Manuel Gallego so far are left on the list. Luis Pedro Biraben still leads on 4 faults, 36.06. Probably a little surprised to still be at the top of the leaderboard. Grace Stebney, Zarina de Vidal for their second Grand Prix win as a pair. Oh, well, I'm not saying it can't be, because 4 faults is leading at the moment. 8 faults is not, though. So they're falling away fast. Yeah, finishing on a score of 8.36.84. It's 8 faults there for Grace Stebney and Zorina de Vidal. Puts her into 5th place. Still, Luis Pedro Biraben leading. 2 left. Luis is going to be at worst in 3rd. Laura Chapeau and Juan Manuel Gallego. And this set up nicely for Laura. 19-year-old Shandon Blue. She and her mother Mary. Mary Chapeau, who is a US Championship team rider herself. We know they've got the pace. At the moment, they just need a clear, and at worst, you're going to be his second. Takes a good run so far. It'll stand off that Oxer. Oh, it flattens into the double, so they're also on 4, but they could still go into the lead. 36.06 to beat. And there it is at 35.64. New leader on the 4 faults. And so Laura Chapeau at the top. Juan Manuel Gallego can take a completely different run at this, because what he needs is a clear, but then the danger is if you have a fence down, you're going to drop further down. So they've 4 faulters take us down to our top 5. Laura Chapeau leading with Shandon Blue on the 4 faults. Just leave them up, and it's job done. Clears the Hermes. Doesn't need to come as tight to this as some of the others, but giving themselves enough space. Gets across the Oxer okay. 3 from home. Oh, has 4 as well, so it's going to be 1 on 4 faults, and it's going to be Laura Chapeau, because she's already home at 35.64. Juan Manuel Gallego and Niagara have 1 fall, I'm afraid, at 38.88, so they finish on the 4. They go into 4th place in the end. It's a win for Laura Chapeau and Shandon Blue. Surprisingly, no double clears in that $62,500 Ethel M Chocolates Grand Prix. 2nd place to Luis Pedro Biraben and Chaco Bumpy. 3rd to Grant Sager and Frida. 4th to Juan Manuel Gallego, last to go there with Niagara DVZ, and 5th to be at Manley and Chartrain Prix Noir. That's the lineup for this Ethel M Chocolates 2-star Grand Prix. Congratulations to our winner. Our thanks to Ethel M and to Mars Equestrian once again for their continued support. Presentation is coming up, closes out week 7 here at the Winter Equestrian Festival, and our final winner is Laura Chapeau, Shandon Blue, to pick up the blue here in the International Arena. We will see you next week, Nations Cup week here in Wellington. It's team time.
Through purposeful partnerships, Mars Equestrian is committed to the sport and building an enduring legacy. From world-class competitions across all equestrian disciplines to stewarding the power of horses on society and sustainability, Mars Equestrian is dedicated to our purpose to improve the lives of horses, pets, and the people who love them. The 2-star series here in week 7 brought to us, of course, by Ethel M Chocolates, created by Forrest Mars Sr. 40 years ago. In honor of his mother, Ethel M Chocolates are delicious gems ready to be savored. The adventure awaits as you bite your explosion of flavor wrapped in decadent chocolate. So many delicious
choices, whether you're rewarding yourself or celebrating someone you love. Ethel M Chocolates are available online at ethelm.com or by phone at 1-800-438-4356. And again, they've sponsored our 2-star division all week long here during week 7 of the Winter Equestrian Festival. Joining us on behalf of Mars Equestrian and Ethel M Chocolates, Pamela Mars will be here to present to our winners today in our $62,500 2-star Grand Prix. And again, the top 3 will be joining us for the awards. 44 entries started the class here today, and the best 11 made their way without penalty into the jump-off round. We will now have the top 3 with us for the awards, and start that off with the Grant Sager and Frida, who posted 36.95 in third place. They were 4-faulter, but a 36.95 time, again, gives them the yellow ribbon in third. Earning our second prize is Luis Pedro Birabin and Chaco Bumpy. They were representatives of Argentina, finishing again in second place. And of course, the best effort put down by Laura Chapeau. As we know, she is a speed demon indeed, and Shandon Blue was her ride for Laura and Mary Chapeau, earning 35.64 for the top spot. Laura Chapeau, of course, a representative of the home team here, the United States of America. So in honor of her win in the Ethel M. Chocolates 2-Star Grand Prix, we'd ask all of you, if you can, please rise and remove cover for the national anthem of the United States of America. And with that, it's the top 3 with us now, heading off for a round of honor. It's a blue ribbon to Shandon Blue and Laura Chapeau in 35.64. Luis Pedro Birabin and Chaco Bumpy, the runners-up, and Grant Sager and Frida finishing in third place. Again, thanks to Ethel M. Chocolates and Mars Equestrian for sponsoring our 2-Star Series all the way to the finish line here in our 2-Star Grand Prix. And a salute to Laura Chapeau and Shandon Blue, taking home the big win. We'll also pick up with 4th place here, and Juan Manuel Gallego and Niagara Dive Z finished in that 4th position. Beat Manley rode Chartrain Prix Noir into 5th, with Mario Delaurier and Genial de Benville in 6th, Grace Debney and Zorina de Vidal 7th. Diego Bedoya Yanez and Scaraglen's Parabellum were 8th, Kevin Gallagher's I'm Here 9th. Ashley Vogel showed Birdie Dutho to 10th, with Carl Cook and Caracol de la Roque in 11th place. And rounding out those top 12, Colin and Luis Francisco de Acevedo. We appreciate everybody being with us at the International Ring and throughout the grounds here during Week 7. Week 7 brought to us, of course, by Lugano Diamonds and the 2-Star Grand Prix, and all 2-Star events brought to us by Ethel M. Chocolates. As we wrap it up, look forward to seeing you in the weeks to come. Nations Cup week getting underway here in just a few days. Enjoy your time off. You're going to need your rest because it's a big week of competition coming up here starting back on Wednesday. See you then.